Ollie Octopus sat proudly on a smooth rock, crayons clutched in all 8 arms. Coral the clownfish swam nearby, giggling at Ollie's serious, puffed cheek expression. "I'm going to draw you perfectly," Ollie said. Coral twirled in the water, pretending to pose like a famous movie star. Pearl the oyster peeked from her shell and asked, "Do I get a portrait too?" Spike the pufferfish rolled up slowly, looking exactly like a spiky beach ball. The 4 friends settled together under a sunny ripple of water, ready for Ollie's grand art adventure to begin. Ollie started his first picture, but one arm suddenly sneezed, smudging the page. "Bless you, arm," Coral said, laughing so hard she made fizzy bubbles. The paper drifted sideways in the current, floating away like a lazy jellyfish heading nowhere in particular. Spike leaned over the paper. "Is that me or a potato?" he asked, tilting his round head. Ollie grinned and said, "Potato with personality." He picked up another crayon and started again, determined to capture Spike's spiky charm without turning him into lunch. Pearl clapped her shell together with a hollow clink. Ollie's second picture showed 8 legs sprouting from Spike's body. "I'm an octopuffer," Spike shouted proudly. The friends laughed so hard their sides ached, tiny bubbles escaping as they tried to catch their breath underwater. Coral suggested Ollie draw her next. Ollie carefully added stripes, but they zigzagged like lightning bolts across her body. "I look like I'm in a comic book," Coral said. She pretended to shoot lightning from her fins, making everyone snort with laughter. The third picture slipped away in the current. Pearl chased after it, her shell clapping as she swam. It stuck on a sea sponge, wobbling like a flag. "It's modern art now," Pearl puffed, returning. Ollie just grinned and reached for a fresh sheet. Picture 4 showed Pearl with sharp spikes decorating her shell. Coral giggled. "Spiky shell fashion?" Ollie shrugged and said, "That's practice." He pulled another crayon from his pile, already imagining what the next drawing might look like with fewer, mismatched features. Ollie's 5th picture came out upside down. "Maybe I'm an acrobat," Spike said, flipping in the water to match. Ollie laughed at the sight and started number 6 without missing a beat, determined to keep improving one drawing at a time. Number 6 looked perfect until Ollie's crayon snapped in half. "My crayon gave up before I did," he said with a sigh. Pearl offered her tiny pearl to hold the broken pieces together. Ollie beamed and got right back to work. Coral swam in circles to cheer Ollie up. His 7th picture ended with Coral's smile, far too big for her face. "I could fit 3 sandwiches in that smile," Coral said. Ollie chuckled and reached for another sheet, ready for another try. Picture 8 somehow showed Ollie's own face instead of Pearl's. "Portrait swap," Pearl announced, tapping the page with her shell. Spike wobbled back and forth, laughing so hard he nearly floated out of sight in the swirling water. Ollie's 9th picture made Spike look like a balloon with messy hair. "Sea hair is trendy," Coral said, pretending to comb it. Ollie wrote the word "practice" in the corner, smiling at how each mistake felt less like failure and more like fun. Number 10 showed Pearl's shell open like a door. Knock, knock, Spike said. Who's there? Ollie's next try, they all shouted together. The water rippled from their laughter, making Ollie's crayons roll around on the rock like tiny dancing sticks. Ollie's 11th picture had coral stripes melting like ice cream. I'm a dessert fish, Coral declared, pretending to drip onto the sand. The friends floated in a cloud of giggles, watching Ollie already sketching his next idea without stopping. Picture 12 turned Pearl into a rectangle with perfectly straight sides. I'm boxy, but brilliant, Pearl said proudly. Ollie spun the paper in the water, letting it twirl like a square dance partner before grabbing his crayons again. Number 13 made Spike look completely flat. I'm Pancake Puffer, he shouted. Ollie pretended one arm was a spatula, flipping Spike gently in the water. Coral laughed so hard she had to hold her sides to keep from floating away. Ollie's 14th try gave Coral giant fins. I could fly to the moon, she said. Pearl grinned and added, only if Ollie draws the moon first. Ollie twirled a silver crayon like it was already halfway to space. Picture 15 showed Pearl wearing sunglasses. Cool claims, Spike said, posing beside her as if for a magazine cover. Ollie tapped his head thoughtfully. Every picture is a warm-up, he told them, already sketching new outlines in bright colors. Number 16 had Ollie's tentacles tangled into knots. That's accurate, Coral said, pointing at the chaos. Ollie grinned. Art imitates life, he replied, wriggling his arms free before starting another drawing with a determined sparkle in his eyes. Picture 17 placed Spike inside a teacup. Tea with Spike, Pearl announced grandly. Everyone pretended to sip invisible tea, holding their pinkies up. Ollie giggled, shaking his head as he reached for another paper to keep the fun going. Number 18 made Coral polka-dotted from head to tail. New fashion line, Dotfish, Coral said, twirling like a model. Ollie kept drawing without pause, crayons moving quickly as he imagined what other funny surprises might appear next. Picture 19 turned Pearl bright purple. Purple Pearl power, she cheered, striking a heroic pose. Spike puffed up, trying to match, but turned green instead. Coral snorted, and Ollie laughed so hard he almost dropped his crayon. Number 20 showed all the friends together, but with swapped features. I'm Coral with spikes, Pearl said. I'm Spike with tentacles, Coral added. Ollie laughed at the mix-ups and promised the next drawing would be less confusing. Probably. Picture 21 showed Ollie wearing a shiny crown. King of practice, Spike declared. Ollie bowed dramatically, nearly tipping over. The friends clapped their fins and shells, making a rhythm that sounded almost like a royal parade. Number 22 finally had neat lines and smooth shapes. You're getting close, Pearl said encouragingly. Coral clapped her fins, sending tiny splashes through the water. Ollie smiled, feeling his drawings improve with each attempt. Picture 23 looked almost perfect until Ollie smudged the corner. Smudge is my signature, Ollie joked. Spike nodded in agreement. Every artist needs one, he said, puffing up with pride for his friend's persistence. With a deep breath, Ollie began number 24. His arms moved smoothly, crayons gliding across the paper. Colors blended just right. Coral whispered, "This might be it," as they all leaned closer to watch the masterpiece take shape. Ollie held up the finished drawing, clear lines, bright colors, everyone smiling together. "Perfect," Pearl said. Spike added, "All those mistakes were just practice in disguise." The friends laughed, proud and happy to see how far Ollie had come.